You have learned HTML, CSS and little bit of JavaScript and you are preparing to build projects. This video might be the one that you are looking for. In this video, we are going to rebuild Google's landing page and I'm trying to add all the functionalities that they do provide. Something like when you click that sign in button, it will take you to that specific page. Similarly, when you search anything, if you hit enter key or if you hit that Google search button, then you will be able to search. Similarly, when you type anything, cross icon reappears, and also when you click cross icon, it will clear all text or the character that you have entered in the search bar. And also at the bottom you can see that footer. So we are trying to create everything from scratch. So are you excited? Without further ado, let's start. Hello and namaste everyone, this is Jitsaru with Coding Design. Welcome to our channel. If you are new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's create index.html file. Inside the index.html file, if I type exclamation sign and hit that tab button, then you will get this basic HTML code. For the title, let's give build Google clone using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Inside the body tag, let's create div with class name container. Inside that div, I'm creating nav element. Next to that, let's create main element and also let's create footer element. Inside that nav, let's create unordered list. And inside list element, I'm creating anchor tag with attribute target and I'm giving underscore top. I want to create 4 list items. For that, I'm giving a strict 4. And if I hit tab button, then you'll get this code. If you have no any idea what's going on, this is what's called emmet abbreviation. So with the help of emmet, we are able to generate this code. I have already created a separate video on this topic. You can check it out. Now for the first anchor tag, let's keep a link. In order to save some time, I have already prepared some links. So let's copy and paste these links. For the first link, we'll give Gmail link. For the second link, I'm giving link for the images. For the third link, inside that anchor tag, I'm creating image element, and for the source, I'm giving images / Google products.svg. As you can see in the same folder, I do have folder name images, and inside that folder there are different images, something like logo.gif, and also there are different svg images. For the fourth link, let's give the link for sign in. If I save the file and with the help of live server extension, let's open this index.html file in our default browser. As you can see in the browser, you can get this result. Now inside the main element, let's create section with class name Google logo. And let's duplicate the same code. Let's change that section name to Google search. Once more, let's duplicate and let's change that class name to Google search buttons. Inside the first section, let's create image tag. For the source, I'm giving images / google.gif. And inside the second section, let's create div with class name search field. And next to that, let's create another div with class name search buttons. Inside the first div, let's create again another div with class name search field icon. And inside that, I'm creating image tag with class name icon. I want to create same 4 elements. So for that, I'm writing asterisk 4. If I hit tab button, then you'll get this code. Let's give the source of images. Okay, so I'm giving different source of images. Now for the second div, instead of that image tag, let's create input tag with type text, and also just below that, let's create a span tag with class name clear, and inside that I'm writing ampersand times semicolon. So this is HTML entity with the help of which you can get cross icon. Now inside the div with class name search buttons, let's create button. Inside that I'm writing Google search. Let's create another button, and inside that button I'm giving anchor tag, and for the URL let's give google.com/dudeless, and let's write I'm feeling lucky. Okay, I think I have done some mistake there. The class name that I have given for that section, that is Google search buttons, that should be given for that div. So let's do that, and instead let's change that section's class name, something like Google homepage language, and inside that let's create a div. Okay, that is my bad, that should be div, but I have given there description data tag. Okay, and I'm writing Google offer in English, and in the browser you can see we're getting different icons and different buttons, links. Now it's time to give some elements for the footer element. So inside the footer, let's create 2 divs. For the first div, I'm creating anchor tag with class name footer link, and I want to create 4 links. So for that, I'm writing asterisk 4. For the first link, let's give the link for about. For the second link, let's give the link for advertising. For the third link, let's give the link for business. For the fourth link, let's give the link for how search works. Now in the second div, let's create again 2 more anchor tag with class name footer link, and for the first link, let's give the link for privacy. For the second link, let's give the link for Google's terms. And just below that, let's create a span tag with class name footer link, and there let's give settings. So in the browser you can see these all are the HTML code that you need in this project. This code represents the navigation bar, and this code represents the Google logo section, and the other section, this section represents the search bar, and this section represents the section where Google's offered different language. Okay, and we do have final section that represents the footer of that Google's landing page. Now just below the title tag, let's keep the link for our style.css file, but we haven't created that file, so now let's create a style.css file. Inside the style.css file, inside root pseudo class, let's declare some CSS variables. So I'm declaring 2 variables. For the first variable, let's give the name text light, and I'm giving light gray color. And for the second variable, let's name it text dark, and I'm giving a bit darker gray color. As you can see, when you use list element, by default browser they do provide margin padding. So in order to remove that, for the universal selector, let's give the margin and padding of 0. List style to none. And also you can see if you are using button element, by default they do provide border with background color. So for that, let's give border to none. And also you can see whenever you are using anchor tag, by default you will get the blue text with underline. So to remove that underline, let's give text decoration to none. And also box size into border box. For the font size, let's give 14 pixel. For the line height, I'm giving 28 pixel. And for the font family, let's give sans serif. Okay, now you can see there is some changes. Now let's style the div with class name container. For the class container, let's give the minimum height of 100 VH, and let's give display flex direction to column, and let's give justify content to space between. With the help of that justify content to space between, we'll be able to distribute our element equally in the vertical direction, and with the help of that align items to center, we'll bring all the elements exactly at the center of our browser. Now let's style this nav element and unordered list element. So for the nav, let's give the width of 100%. For the height, let's give 48 pixel, and also I'm giving padding. For the padding top, I'm giving 8 pixel. For the left and right, I'm giving 18 pixel. For the bottom, let's give 0. And now let's style unordered list, that is within the nav element. For the unordered list, let's give the float left. Now you can see all those elements are taken at top right corner. Okay, I think before that we have to style the parent elements. Okay, so you can style something like main element and this footer element. So for the main, let's give the height. For the height, I'm giving 80 BH, and also let's give text align to center. Now you can see within that main element, they are brought exactly at the center. Now let's style the footer element. For the footer, let's give the width of 100%. For the padding, I'm giving top and bottom to 2 pixel. For the left and right, 20 pixel. And for the background color, let's give this light gray color. And also again, let's use flex box. So I'm writing display flex, justify content to space between. Now let's style that links that is within the footer. So for the class footer link, let's give the margin top and bottom to 0, and for the left and right 8 pixel. Now for the unordered list that is within the nav, again let's give the display flex. I think before that, let's style all the images with class name icon. So for the class icon, let's give the width and height of 24 pixel, and also vertical align to middle. In the browser, you can see all the images with class name icons. They are now smaller in size. So let's style the list items that is within the nav. For the list item, I am giving padding. For the padding top and bottom 0. For the left and right to 15 pixel. And also you can see the links that we have given for the navigation bar. Because of anchor tag, you will get that blue text. So let's change that text color. For the color, let's give CSS variable text dark. At the top, you can see inside the root pseudo class, we have already declared that CSS variable. Now when you hover that anchor tag, let's give text decoration to underline. So now you can see when you hover, you will get that underlined text. Now let's style the last list item where we have given the sign in text. That should be button. Now in order to select that last list item, you can write something like li colon last of type, and for that let's give the background color. For the background color I'm giving that sky blue color, and let's give the padding. For the padding top and bottom I'm giving 4 pixels. For the left and right 27 pixels. And let's give the border radius of 4 pixels. And also let's change that button's text color. So for that let's give again color of white, and also text decoration to none. When you hover, you will get that underlined text. So in order to prevent that, we have to give their exclamation sign important. Now let's style the section with class name Google logo. So for the class Google logo, let's give the maximum height of 250 pixels. And let's select this code and duplicate it. Now for the image that is within the section with class name Google logo, for the maximum width let's give 115 pixels. You can see logo of Google is now in perfect shape and size. Now it's time to style the section with class name Google search. For the Google search I'm giving maximum height of 154 pixels, so you may have difficulty in understanding like what's going on. For now let's give background color of red, and if I give padding of 20 pixels, you can see that red section represents the section with class name Google search. Now we don't need that background color, so let's remove that. For the div with class name source field, let's give maximum width of 380 pixels. For the height I'm giving 44 pixels. And also let's give display to flex. You can see all the elements, they are in now single line. And also let's give border. For the border width I'm giving 1.8 pixel. For the style solid. For the color let's give this light gray color, and also I'm giving the border radius of 24 pixels. As you can see, all the elements within that source field, they are not aligned properly. So for that, if I give text align to center, you will see all the elements, they are vertically centered. And also let's give justify content to center, so that all the elements, they will be horizontally centered. And for the padding top I'm giving 10 pixel. For the right I'm giving 8 pixel. For the bottom 10 pixel. For the left 16 pixel. And now let's copy the same code and paste it there. Now when you hover that source field, let's give the box shadow. For the X offset, let's give 0. For the Y offset, 1 pixel. For the spread value, let's give 6 pixel. And for the color, let's give this dark gray color with some transparent value. And also let's change the border color, something like light gray color with some transparent value. So now you can see when you hover, you will get that box shadow with border. Let's style all the divs with class name source field icon. So for the class source field icon, I am giving not pseudo class, and inside that I am giving first child pseudo class. So with the help of this code, we are applying this CSS property for all the elements except the first element. In our case, our first element is that magnifier icon. Let's give the padding. Okay, so for the padding, top and bottom I am giving 0. For the left and right 8 pixels. So you can see there is proper gap between the icons. Now let's style that input field that is within the div with class name source field. So for that input element, let's give the width of 145 pixel. Let's give the height, I'm giving 34 pixel. And also I'm giving padding top to 0, right to 24 pixel, bottom to 0, and for the left 8 pixel. If you are new to HTML, you may not know, but all the input element by default browser, they do give background color of white color. So in order to prevent that, I'm giving background color to transparent. And also let's give the font size to 16 pixel. When you focus the input field, you will get that border. So in order to prevent that, let's give outline to none. Now you can see when you focus, you won't be able to see that border around input field. Now let's style that cross icon. Okay, so in the index.html file, you can see we have given their class of clear. So for the class clear, let's give the position of absolute. For the font size, I am giving 2 rem. And also let's give cursor to pointer so that it represents, you can click that icon. And also let's give right to 0. Now you can see that icon is taken at the corner, so it's because you can see we haven't declared any position for its parent. I think we have to change its parents to class name, so let's change to source field input. So let's copy the same class and paste it there. Now for the parent, let's give position of relative. You can see this is exactly what I want. Now it's time to style that div with class name Google Search Buttons. For the class Google Search Buttons, let's give the padding top to 18 pixels. Now let's select this code and duplicate it. And now let's style the buttons within that div with class name Google Search Buttons. Let's give the left and right padding to 16 pixels. Let's remove that padding top, and also let's change that padding top and bottom value to 4 pixels. And also I want to give background color to light gray color. And for the text color, let's give that text light CSS variable. The anchor tag that is within the button element, so this anchor tag, okay. Let's change color to, I'm giving the same color, so let's duplicate the color and let's take it down. And also let's select this code and once more duplicate it. Let's take it down. Now when you hover these buttons, let's change its text color to text dark CSS variable, my bad. And also let's give the box shadow. For the x offset 0, for the y offset I'm giving 1 pixel, spread value to 1 pixel, and for the color let's give this black color with transparent value. For the border width, I'm giving 1 pixel. For the border style, solid. And for the border color, let's give this light gray color. Now you can see when you hover, you will get box shadow with border color. I have forgot to give some extra properties for the button elements. So let's give the border width to 1 pixel, border style to solid. And for the border color, I'm giving the same background color. And also let's give the margin. For the margin top and bottom, I'm giving 11 pixel. For the left and right, I'm giving 4 pixels. Similarly, let's give the border radius of 4 pixels. And also don't forget to give the cursor to pointer, user select to none. So now when you try to select these button elements, you won't be able to select, okay. Now let's take it to the full screen by pressing F11 key. Everything is looking fine. Now whenever you are typing any character or text, cross icon that should reappear, and whenever you are removing all the character or text, that cross icon should be hidden. So initially for the class clear, let's give display to none. I'm so sorry guys, like the link that I have given at the beginning, I need to add protocols. So at the beginning, for all the links, let's give https://. So let's give this https protocol for all the links, okay. And now let's check out, is it working or not, okay. If I click Gmail link, did you see that? It is taking me to the pop-up page. And what if I click on that sign in? Okay, it is taking me to that pop-up page. So I think everything is working fine. And also let's click that I'm feeling lucky button. Okay, that button is also taking to the specific page. So I think everything is working fine. And also what about the footers link? Once again, let's check out that about link. Okay, it's working, but still we're not giving the main functionality. So it's time to create JavaScript file. So I'm creating script.js file. Just above the end of body tag, let's give the link for our JavaScript file. I'm giving the source. For the source, let's give script.js file. Now we need to select that input element and also cross icon. And finally, we need to select that Google search button. Actually, what if I give ID for that button? For the ID, I'm giving search button. So now in the script.js file, let's create the constant variable search input, and I'm assigning document.querySelector. So let's copy this class name and let's select the input element. And also now let's select that span tag with class name clear, which is the cross icon. I'm using comma so that I don't have to write constant keyword multiple times. Let's create the variable clear, and I'm assigning document.querySelector. So we are selecting that span tag with class name clear. Once again, let's create another variable source button. So I'm assigning again the document.querySelector. So we are selecting that button with ID source button. So let's give their hashtag source button. Now let's give the event listener for the source input, and I'm listening to the key of event. And for the second parameter, let's give the arrow function, and I'm passing e as event. What if I write console.log e.key, and in the browser, if I press F12 key and go to the console tab, You can see whenever I am typing anything in that search bar, you will get that exact key, key value that I have entered in that search bar. What if I press enter key? Did you see that? With the help of that e.key, we are able to get the exact key that I have pressed. So let's duplicate the same code and let's comment it out. Let's console.log the value that I have entered in search bar. So if I write source input.value in the browser, whenever I am typing anything in the search bar in the console, did you see that? We'll get all the values that I have typed. So now let's store this source value inside the source text variable, and I haven't created that variable, so let's create that source text variable. Now whenever you are typing anything inside that source bar, at the time we are getting the value. And now let's give the condition. So for the condition, I am giving if source text dot length that is greater or equal to 1, then for that clear I can give clear dot style dot display is equal to block. In the style.css file, you can see initially for the class clear we have given their display to none, which represents the cross icon. So whenever you are typing at least one character, at the time only we are trying to show up that cross icon. Otherwise, let's duplicate the same code and let's take it to the else condition and let's give display to none. In the browser, you can see as soon as you type anything, you will get that cross icon. Okay, the position of cross icon that is messed up. So for the class clear, let's give top value to 0. Now once again, if I type anything, you will get that cross icon, and as soon as you remove all the text, that cross icon is hidden. So this is exactly what we want. And now whenever you are clicking that cross icon should be hidden, as well as text that we have entered that should be cleared. So in order to add that functionality, once again you can write something like clear dot, I'm giving the event handler on click. So now whenever we are clicking that cross icon at the time, once again let's duplicate the code and let's take it there. So we are giving display to none, and also you can copy that source input dot value and we can assign their empty string. So once again in the browser, if I type anything, you can see that cross icon, it reappears. What if I click that cross icon? Did you see that? Cross icon is hidden, as well as the text that you have entered. All these texts are cleared. So now you can see everything is working fine. So this is exactly what you want. Now let's add another functionality, something like when you type anything and if you hit enter key, let's add source functionality. Now in order to track that enter key, we have to give the condition. So for that I'm writing if. We can use that e.key. So in the console, I have already shown you with the help of that event.key, we'll be able to get what kind of button users are pressing. In the if condition, let's give e.key equal to, let's give the string enter. So that e should be capital, okay, otherwise it won't work. Similarly, that equal to, that should be double equal to, because that is the comparison operator, okay. So if user is typing anything in the search bar and as soon as they hit the enter key, at the time let's call this function Google search, but you can see we haven't created that Google search function. So now let's create that Google search function. Inside that function, I have to give condition. So why is that? It's because what if user, they didn't type anything and they are sourcing? That doesn't make any sense. So for that, in order to source, user has to type at least one character. So for that, I'm giving if. In the condition, let's give the same source text dot length is greater or equal to 1. Then as you can see, we have already given the same condition. So the condition is same. If that condition is true, let's create the variable URL, and I'm assigning, let's use template literals by typing backtick. In your keyboard, just above the tab button or next to that number 1 key, you'll find out this symbol. So with the help of this template literals, it is easier to manipulate text and the variable. So I'm using template literals. Inside that, let's write https://google.com/search ? Q is equal to, you can type $, curly bracket, and inside that curly bracket, now you can pass the variable source text. Now we have created that URL, but in order to execute that URL, now you have to write window.location is equal to URL. So now once again in the browser, let's search my YouTube channel, and if I hit enter key, did you see that? My YouTube videos. By the way, you can check out these videos, okay, if you are interested in. When you hit enter key, now we are able to search. But what about when you press that Google search button? So once again, what you can do is that you can copy that search button and let's keep the event listener. So we are listening to the click event. So now whenever you are clicking that Google search button at the time, once again you can call that Google search function. So let's copy and paste it there. Once again in the browser, let's search MrBeast, and if I hit that Google search button, did you see that? Now we are able to search by hitting that Google search button. So everything's working fine, but I have noticed there something in the footer section. Still we are getting that blue text color, so let's change that. So for the class footer link, let's give the color. For the color, let's give text light CSS variable. And also, if you have noticed there, the size of cross icon is a bit smaller in size, as well as the position is not exactly at the center. So I think we have to change that. So for that, for the class clear, if you give font size to 2.5 rem, and also let's change that top value to 50%. And let's give transform translate y to -50%. With the help of this code, now you will be able to bring your cross icon exactly at the center, and also there isn't any pop-up space. So for that, for the input element, for the padding right, I'm giving 28 pixels, and for the class clear, let's give the right value to 4 pixels. Now once again in the browser, you can see there is now purple space, as well as our cross icon is exactly at the center. I think now almost everything is nearly perfect. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did learn something, smash that like button. If you have any kind of queries, let me know in the comment box. Share this video if you think someone needs it. And also, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell icon. Remember, there is always more to learn, so keep learning.